Missouri's speed trap law is filled with potholes.
Well, it's supposed to keep towns from stuffing their coffers with traffic fines, but we found it's nearly impossible to enforce. Investigator Ryan Kath has more. Ryan?
Elizabeth, the speed trap law limits the amount of money a city can make off traffic tickets. Once that limit is reached, any extra cash is supposed to be turned over to our schools. After getting several tips from viewers, we looked into it and discovered the chances of cities getting caught are slim, meaning students could be missing out.
Along Highway 50 in southern Jackson County, Louita Helmig hears a lot. Violent wrecks in her front yard.
She went off the road and over the culvert, and she didn't make it.
Police pulling over thousands of drivers.
They hide out down at that little road down there.
And people complaining about Lone Jack's reputation.
It's a speed trap is what I hear, but, you know, people are going too fast. They need to slow down.
Police here do write a lot of tickets, more than 3,300 last year alone. We watched an officer pull over Brandon Wilkinson, clocked going 85. He told us he knew better.
What have you heard about Lone Jack?
That it's a speed trap, pretty much. A lot of people could get tickets there.
But is all of this driving Lone Jack to also break the law? Randolph, population 50, made headlines when the state auditor busted the police department for violating the Max Creek Law. Named after an infamous speed trap in the 90s, the statute limits the revenue a city can keep from traffic violations on state and federal roads. The audit estimated Randolph generated 3/4 of its budget from tickets on 210 highway. The limit is 35%. Extra cash is supposed to go to schools, and in this case, that adds up to $54,000 for the Clay County District. Numbers that make this traffic attorney's head spin.
You think, how can a city that small write that many tickets?
To see if other towns are pushing the limit, we analyzed vehicle stop reports filed with the state, searching for places that write a lot of tickets compared to population. We then reviewed budget reports to see how much they raked in from court fines. While the majority of small towns coast under the revenue radar, our research revealed some loopholes in the law. In Oakview, police have earned the nickname of North Oak Highway Patrol. But because all tickets are on city streets, Oakview is exempt. And in tiny Northmore, cops aren't just patrolling the neighborhoods.
We're on I-29 entering Northmore. Police pulled over 412 drivers on this stretch of interstate last year. That's more than half of all the stops they made. And now we're leaving Northmore.
They're not protecting your own citizens by out there doing traffic stops on interstate highways where they really don't have any jurisdiction at all.
I called lawmaker John Griesheimer, who helped tighten the law just last year, dropping the revenue cap from 45% to 35%. But it won't matter because we found there's nobody behind the wheel to enforce the rules. Take Lone Jack. Of the last 200 tickets issued last year, 99% of them were on state highways. And the city's financial report shows $430,000 in court fines, more than half the budget. However, there's no requirement to show how much of that revenue comes from traffic tickets. The bottom line, we found the law has never been enforced in 15 years. News that left our lawmakers speechless. The Department of Revenue has not collected a dime from this law.
I guess I don't understand that.
So who knows if Lone Jack and other Jackson County schools are missing out.
If the city doesn't rat itself out, then there's a good chance that they'll never be discovered unless they're hit by one of these random audits.
As long as towns are policing themselves, don't count on them to be caught in their own speed trap.
City officials from Lone Jack wouldn't talk to us on camera, but did send a statement saying their municipal court computer software is unable to track the revenue from tickets on state roads. They've since contacted their software provider and expect an updated version that will fix that problem. The statement also reads, while the city believes the Max Creek Law is not the best public policy, Lone Jack intends to comply with the law. Goes on to say the city intends to continue to enforce traffic regulations whether or not it exceeds the threshold. So, Mark and Elizabeth, when this all shakes out, we'll see if Lone Jack ends up turning over any of their traffic revenue to the state.
That is fascinating. What about Randolph? What's with that?
Well, the city attorney in Randolph said since this audit came out in September, he has not heard from anyone with the state asking Randolph to pay up. He also had some harsh words for the law. He said it was a pro-crime law, saying more people are going to get away with speeding, running red lights along that stretch of 210 highway. He also said it's going to be, instead of a speed trap, it's going to turn into a speedway. But remember, this law doesn't limit the amount of tickets you can write. It simply limits the amount of money you can keep.
Huh.
Very interesting. Well, let us know if that changes.
If you don't speed, too, you should be okay.
All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks.